Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
Another Victory Monday, Rally. How you feeling, man?
Are you kidding me? Who couldn't be feeling good with a win like this? Man, this right here is just awesome sauce, bro. And I gotta tell you, man, I want them to keep on rolling, man. Keep on rolling. How you feeling, superstar?
You crazy, man. It was those that don't know what Rally's talking about. It was a fun surprise, right? I got a bunch of text messages because Mrs. Tailgate was out with her girlfriends, and I'm sitting there walking around the neighborhood trying to get the puppy tired so I can actually watch the game. Because if those of you that listened to the last show or even watched the last show, you guys saw me just scrambling, not paying attention to the camera because I'm trying to make sure she's not eating my shoes. Right. So I'm walking her around the neighborhood trying to make sure that we're straight. And this way she'll take a nap. And next thing you know, my phone's blowing up. So Fox NFL Pregame show ended up having a clip for the Hail Mary. So they did a whole segment on it. And they got a bunch of fans reacting to the Hail Mary. And then you got like maybe 3 seconds. Literally, if you sneeze, you miss me. You ain't going to catch it. But you saw me on there lighting up my victory cigar after that Bears game. And it was fun, man. I'm not going to lie. It was a nice little bonus. They did not reach out to me. They just, put the clip up there and it is what it is. But I'm not going to complain, man. It's just, I've never felt this way about our football team before. I felt this way about the Nats. I was there for the World Series. I was there for the Stanley Cup run for the Caps, right?
Mhm.
But I'm too young to remember 91 really going through this, right? I remember my family being happy, but I was never able to really just go through and experience it like you and I are now. So this feels freaking phenomenal, man. I mean, how was that bus ride up to New York just with all those different Washington fans, just everyone just being ecstatic about where we are right now, and then knowing you're going to go up to MetLife and put a whooping on them Giants?
Well, we had 44 people, 44 Commanders fans, 2 Giants fans. Hey,
Whew,
you can't.
how'd they get on the bus?
You can't fault the Giants fans going to their hometown. You know what I mean? You can't do it. So I welcome everyone. So I may even have some Eagles fans on the bus going up to Lincoln. So
Just leave them there.
Well, hopefully we'll see how it goes. But I always tell people, hey, look, for some, the bus ride home is going to be fun, and for others, it's not going to be so fun. Luckily, we came out on top with the fun. So, as I said, I had 44 people on the bus. We had a great time. I offered a full package, which was food, bus ride, and game ticket. And then I offered just a bus ride up there. And we had a lot of people who just said, you know what? I don't want to deal with the New York traffic, the tolls. I'd rather sit back, let somebody else do the driving, have me a couple of sips of an adult beverage. And that's what the bus trip is all about, letting people relax, have fun, joke, because we had a great time, man. Just joke, going back and forth with each other. So big shout out to Kevin and Michelle. They came from freaking Seattle.
Why did they just fly to New York?
Hear me out. So I met them in, oh God, see, my memory's bad, but I met them and they said, you know what, this sounds like something we want to do. And so I was like, okay. And a lot of times I hear so much, people say so much to me that they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Well, they actually came through. So they flew in from Seattle. They have family here, Ted. They have family here.
Okay. That makes more sense.
And so since they had family here, they spent a night with their parents or their dad. She spent the night with their parents. And after that, caught the bus to the game. I also had a big shout out to James Baltimore and his brother and mother. They came from Dallas. They've always wanted to ride the bus. They've seen the pictures, they've seen the videos, they've seen how much of a great time that we've had, and said, you know what, I want to be a part of this bus trip. So they circled the Giants bus trip out of all the trips and said, you know what, we're gonna They're from the DC area as well. So I don't want people to think that they just flew up strictly for that. But they came to DC, visited their family and friends, and they also rode the bus, and they had a ball. It's stories like that I love to hear, because obviously people are hearing and seeing that it's not a scam, first off, because I don't know how many times I get called during the day and
You
say,
serious?
oh, dude, I get called, are these trips a scam? I can't believe that you're doing this, and how do I know? And so I just answer the question, no, it's not a scam, but a lot of people think that it is for whatever reason. I guess it's the internet. Let's just be real with it. It's the internet. You don't know you don't know me,
Yeah.
but you know me, if that makes sense.
But
So
yeah, I
go
mean, if
ahead.
they're reaching out to you though, right? You would think that they would know who the rally captain is, but you got testimonials on there about your trips or something?
I do
Maybe.
on my sbevents.net. Yeah, you can Google SB events and you'll see all the reviews that come up.
Yeah. No,
So,
I
but
hear you. That's
nevertheless,
just
we
that is.
we had a good time. We had a good time. People enjoyed themselves.
Did you and I talked offline about having some visitors document? Did that happen or no?
So Channel 7 did actually come out to the Army Navy Drive Pentagon first stop, and it was on I want to say maybe the 10 o'clock. Possibly you can go back and look at it, but it was a nice little story that they did. I was happy. It was a great little clip, and we after that we went straight to Arundel Mills to pick up the second stop and onto the stadium. So that is there on Channel 7. I saw a brief clip through someone else who shared it to me. I haven't even had time, believe it or not, Ted, to even try to look at anything, bro. You know the deal. After you finish your tailgate, you got cleanup, you got everything else you got to get done. So I'm in the process of going through everything that I did last night and today to get cleaned up for the next one. So I haven't had time to look at anything. I haven't even had time to watch the game. People say they saw me on TV. And I go, okay. I mean, because I just haven't had time to look at it.
Yeah, you were there a couple times. It was nice because I didn't see you till the end, closer to like the fourth quarter. So if you fast forward, get to the fourth quarter, you'll see yourself on there. But now that's awesome to see and hear that you had that many people. I mean, I think the only thing I would have done is make sure the people from Dallas wore masks, so you didn't catch anything from them. But it sounds like it was a blast. I saw like the little flashlight show you guys had on the bus coming home, everyone all hyped up. And I
Oh man,
mean, I know
yeah.
you weren't the only ones, because for those that don't know, the New York City Marathon was going on this weekend. Because a lot of people will go up and they'll go partake in New York and then hang out around town. Hotels in New York and New Jersey were ridiculous. So my man Tim from the tailgate crew, he ended up going up and getting tickets for $93, but didn't go up, I think, until that morning, and then came
Okay.
back that night. And I know a lot of Commanders fans, Washington's fans, did the same thing, just because hotels, because it's not far from New York City, right? Even if you stay at the Meadowlands, it doesn't take long. So a lot of people that were running the marathon stayed out in Jersey just to somewhat save some cash. So they had to actually get into New York later on for the marathon. So it was just a crazy weekend to have both at the exact same time. But it was just, I was so jealous, having so much FOMO, because I saw my boy Chad Ryan from Fox 5. I don't know if he went up with Road Warrior on those Sprinter vans. They had like 5 Sprinter vans that they ended up renting and bringing up there or what. But it just, so many of our brothers and sisters made that trip up there. And then they showed all of you guys, well, the majority of you guys, on TV, just enjoying the win. And I'm sitting on my couch just waiting to light up my victory cigar I had ready to go. I got to keep the tradition alive now, man. My humidor is running low. Anyone out there that's got any cigars that they don't want, gladly drop them off at the tailgate coming up this Sunday against the Steelers. But I was just waiting for that, and then to see pictures of your trip on the way back, man. I mean, did you get there in time to tailgate or stop by any spots, or you just guys pretty much just headed on in?
We got there and we had about, I'd say, 35 to 40 minutes. So took a quick picture, and then I told everyone, look, you can do what you want to do. I'm walking in, because I know, for me, trying to walk from the bus, somebody's going to recognize me, and that just adds 2 minutes to
Yeah.
the journey. And don't get me wrong, I love taking pictures. So I don't want anybody to think that, oh, you don't have time to take pictures. I love taking pictures. And so, a matter of fact, as soon as I stepped foot off the bus, a guy spotted me, and I was trying to record the people getting off the bus, and he's just hyped to see me and everything. And I'm kind of like, hey man, just, give me a second, And so, but then after he realized what was going on, he waited, and we took a pic later on. But after everybody got off the bus, but yeah, for me, I like to get there a little earlier. But so our caterer threw a monkey wrench in the program and said, listen, I won't be able to have all the food prepared until 7. Normally, he would have it done by 6. So we'd get on the road an hour early, or 45 minutes to an hour early. Well, yesterday he was like, hey, I won't be able to have the food ready until actually, 7 o'clock. So I had to send out emails and texts and everything to everybody, let them know that, hey, look, the first pickup was going to be 8 o'clock. And the second pickup will be 9 o'clock. And normally, like I said, it's 7 and 8, which will give us about a good, once we get to MetLife, a good, I'd say hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, to jaw jack, tailgate, have fun, whatever have you. But so it was cut a little short, but at the same time, I didn't mind it because it's door-to-door service. You can't beat it. So I had a good
How
time.
many spots you got left for Philly?
I have roughly 10.
Okay. Those of
10
you
to
listening right now,
Yeah.
go to sbevents.net, get your trip to Philly, because I mean, right now that is looking like for first place in the NFC East. I don't know what's going to happen this week. I'm not trying to jump ahead, but I'm sure you all know, Riley and I are recording this. It's Monday. Dak Prescott is potentially out for the season. Got something wrong with
Dallas
him.
is done. Yeah, Dallas is done.
I mean, you don't want to wish injury on somebody, but he does play for the Cowboys, so he can kiss my ass for all I care. But I mean, the Eagles are right behind us on our tail. So that trip to Philly on a Thursday night on a short week, coming back from playing the Steelers, that's gonna be a massive one. So if you get a chance, man, jump on those tickets with the rally and jump on that bus and get up there. And I don't know. I get people all the time and say, "Oh, you don't want to go up there." It's like, I have been to Philly over 2 dozen times, and I've only had a problem once, and that's when I was sitting in the nosebleeds. I have never had an issue there. I've always worn my gear there. People will talk to me. I just, I've said plenty of times on the show, I just pretend I don't speak English, right? And if they try and talk to me in another language, I don't speak that one either. Unless they are wearing burgundy and gold, I ain't paying you any mind at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I will eat your cheesesteak. I will eat those crab fries and hang out, and I will watch my game. And if I have to use the bathroom, I will try and use the family bathroom that locks behind me. But other than that, it's a good spot, man. Just don't let their, I guess, brand, if you will, deter you from having a good time on this trip. Because I remember one time you went up there and the Eagles were undefeated, and y'all went up there and brought back that dub for us. So, who knows what's going to happen this time?
And nothing happened to me. Here's the other thing that I would ask. I know everybody's financial situation is different. So for this Giants game, I had like 8 signups within 24 hours before kickoff. I can accommodate that, but it just makes things a little harder. So if by chance, you're on the fence, hey, be like Nike and just do it. Just do it. They're not going to put their hands on you. They'll talk cash trash, but I've heard people at FedEx Field, Northwest Stadium, talking cash trash. It's the nature of the beast. It's football. Yeah. Just in one ear, out the other. We'll have a good time. Go up together, come home together, and we'll be good to go.
No, I'm jealous, man. I want to go. I really do. So, just talking about financial situations, mine ain't the tightest at this point. So, but I would live vicariously through you all. But before we jump into that, man, like, I know you've been to MetLife a ton. Like, I'm hearing there were so many more Commanders fans at this game than there were in the past. And I remember hearing some Giants fans saying, please beat us because we want to blow this thing up. Please kick our ass in this game because they want Daboll gone and they want Daniel Jones gone and they just want this entire thing to just implode. And as it is now, it looks like there's going to be 2 coaching vacancies in the NFC East with the Giants and the Cowboys. So, but how was it,
Yeah.
man? Was there a ton of burgundy and gold out there?
Oh, it was a ton of burgundy and gold. I mean, don't get me wrong, that red, white, and blue, it stands out. That big blue, with the accents of red and everything, they stand out. And obviously, it's their stadium, so you would think that they would stand out. But I would say if we had to look at the numbers wise or percentage wise, I'd say 60 Giants, 40 Commanders,
That's a ton, man.
roughly. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a ton in our favor that ended up going up there. And, we talked about the game not being an easy one, right? In our kind of precursor up to it last week's show, right? And it was a 27-22 victory. And it should have been closer if Daboll doesn't go for two and then misses it again. So you and I haven't had a chance to meet up for that victory steak, but I did buy a victory steak because I got the Commanders at -3.5. And when B Rob went out, when did you find out that B Rob wasn't playing?
On the bus trip up, I was serving food, and a customer says, "Oh man, B Rob's not playing today," and I was like, "What?" And so, but I knew he was having some type of issues, but I just didn't
Hamstring.
know. Yeah, I knew he was having some type of issues, but I really didn't know what was going on. And they said, "Yeah, he's been ruled out." And so I was like, "All right, well, hey, we got to get it done with Eckler and McNichols." And I did hear that they brought up um the other back,
Rodriguez. Yeah.
Rodriguez. Yeah.
This is actually what DQ had to say about Rodriguez.
And I want to start off just by recognizing Chris Rodriguez, and didn't know he was going to go until really 90 minutes prior and to the game. And when you get into that spot and you demonstrate you're ready, it goes a long way to your teammates. And there's a lot of unseen work to be ready. You don't get all the reps. Sometimes that comes in the after practice time, the before practice time to be ready. And I thought just a strong finish at the end of the game by him.
I mean, there were reports that B Rob was going to play on Saturday from a bunch of the talking heads, like respectable ones. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, good. And then next thing you know, 90 minutes before, B Rob sends a tweet out, I'm going to come back stronger. And the team hadn't put the inactives out yet. So you're thinking, okay, this ain't looking good. So they had to activate Chris Rodriguez and bring him up. So Rodriguez had the best grade from PFF for the day. He knew 90 minutes prior that he was going to be playing, right? And I still think if Rodriguez would have been active versus the Ravens, it's a better game. I think we potentially win that game, if not make it a lot closer game than it actually was. But considering like what Rodriguez knew, and for him to do what he did, he had 11 for 52. He had
Nice.
an average of 4.7, and he had 17 yards was his longest. And at one point, at the end of the game, when we are driving and he needs to get a first down, he actually asked, and this was according to Logan Paulson on the team radio feed. He asked coach, because it was, I want to say it was 3rd and 1 or something like that. If we got to the 2-yard line, we would have got a first down and we could have killed the clock. Rodriguez actually asked Coach Quinn if he should score or not. Because, I mean, that talk about playing with your head, right? A guy that's been sitting on the practice squad that was an active member of this roster last year, he is asking his coach if he can score and if he should score because it could potentially hurt the team. And those not understanding why he says that, because you're potentially giving the Giants the ball back with time left. And who knows, something fluky could happen. They could get a Hail Mary, right? They could get a freaking onside kick, which is unbelievably difficult, but who knows? You just want to get that first down because the Giants had no more timeouts, and then you just kneel the ball down, victory formation like we did, and kill the clock. But to have him have the heads up to do that, hats off to him for being in the moment and understanding the situation. But I do not envy Adam Peters, man, because the problem now is this is the 3rd time Chris Rodriguez has been brought up from the practice squad. They can't just put him back down. They got to cut him. He's got to clear waivers and then land on the practice squad. Or
And
you got to keep him on your 53.
and we know that once you cut him and he's on the practice squad, the great tape that he's put out there, someone can snatch him. Now, I don't know what the market is for running backs right now. I mean, but we're getting to that part of the season where people are starting to get banged up, hence B Rob. So if you got a number one back that's banged up and you see the type of tape this kid is putting out there, more than likely he's got a good chance of leaving us. Don't want that to happen, but that's how it goes. And man, that would be hurtful for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy for him if something
Oh yeah.
happens,
Yeah.
but we're also right at the trade deadline. Maybe he put enough tape for someone to say, "Hey, I'll give you a fourth for Rodriguez or a fifth for Rodriguez." I don't know, but it's an interesting situation because they can't just move him back down because they had to bring him up because B got hurt and because it's a hamstring. A hamstring injury for a running back or a wide receiver, those fast twitch guys, who knows how long that can linger? And I don't know. I don't want to talk about the Steelers yet, but you got the Steelers coming in, and then you got a short week with the Eagles. Not that the Steelers game doesn't matter or mean anything, but that Eagles game means a lot more because it's a division game. So do you let him have a chance? But then you can't put B Rob on short-term IR. So this is why Adam Peters gets paid the big bucks, because you got to figure something out at that point to see what you can do. I mean, carrying 4 running backs on your roster typically does not happen because they're not moving Eckler. And I'd be okay if they let McNichols move back down because I don't know if someone would steal McNichols versus Rodriguez,
Hmm.
but who knows what's going to happen. I'm just glad that I'm not Peters and I got to make up that decision. But it was great to see him out there, just knowing what he has gone through because the last regime at least had him on the 53 and he's been practice squad fodder, for a majority of the season.
Yeah. The other thing about B Rob is, hey, we're getting into the colder parts of football, colder months of football, and in the warmer weather, hamstring is not that bad. But once it starts getting colder and those muscles really start tightening up, man, it's not good. So all those things have to be looked at. And like you said, hat goes off to Peters because he really is going to have to work overtime to figure out what they want to do. I wouldn't be surprised, Ted, if because of what you said, we do something unconventional because this year for us, let's face it, it has been unconventional that we carry 4 backs. He sees the importance of all 4 of them. And with this nagging injury that B Rob has at any given moment, we don't want it to go, but it can pop off again. And you need someone right there. I wouldn't be surprised if we do keep 4.
Yeah, you just have to have a roster spot, right? And
Hmm.
that's the problem. So it comes down to who do you let go? Who do you let go that won't hurt you, that you think can clear waivers and make it down to the practice squad? I mean, I do think I don't want to say funny, but the fact that Jamin Davis cleared waivers and is on someone else's practice squad, not even on someone else's 53, and the guy was a 19th pick in the draft, right? It's just Emmanuel Forbes, I don't think got a single snap.
He
And
did. He came out.
so
Yeah.
John Kimes said he came out and then they actually took him off the field because it was on the Daniel Jones it was on a Malik Neighbors catch that they reviewed the spot, right? And then they gave them the first down. So I'm looking at the official chart. The defense played 65 snaps. Jeremy Chin, Bobby Wagner played 65 snaps. Forbes didn't play a single defensive snap. He could have played special teams. They don't list
Hmm.
that, but not one single snap on defense, right? And
Okay.
actually, I can look at special teams to see if Forbes is listed, but it is another first round pick getting
Yeah.
chopped,
Now that
right?
I'm thinking about it, I do remember him running out on the field, and then he kind of did a little hop skip and went back to the sideline. So I think that's what I did see.
Yeah, that's what Kimes said this morning on the Junks. And I'm looking here, special teams grades. Forbes did not get a single special team. So he dressed. He just didn't do a damn thing. And I don't know if they would cut him just considering. And I don't think you can trade Forbes just because he's not making our squad. So what team is actually going to take him? But maybe, hey, you get a 7th round. a Mr. Irrelevant that turns into Brock Purdy. That would be freaking amazing.
Never know. Yeah, never know. Yeah.
So, but it's, just something that's interesting to see. But this running attack has been ridiculous. But before we get to our running attack, how worried were you seeing the Giants just run up and down the field on us to start that game?
Well, Ted, I've come to really embrace the bend, don't break mentality with this squad. We know that they're porous for the running game. They just are. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Let them do it. Not let them do it, but no problem, no problem. And then we figure out a way to stop it. And ultimately, that's what we did. But I understand that truly good teams, you won't be able to do that. And I'm hoping that there's a way that we can change it. Because, dude, like I said, I've come to the understanding that we're going to bend a lot, but as long as we don't break, I'm cool. What about you?
So looking back at it, right, and I'm just taking notes during the game, the Giants had 140 rushing yards with 12 minutes to go in the second quarter. I mean, that's how brutal it was. They actually ended with 142 in the first half because we went up and we got that. And hat tip to Bobby Wagner. I mean, I can't remember who it was that almost had the fumble that he caught on our side on the defense.
Oh, yeah.
But he dropped it, right? And Cleveland Farrell gets a strip sack. And whoever it got tipped to dropped it. He thought it was an interception. So he basically gave up on the play. Bobby, being a Hall of Famer and just heads up vet, continues because he doesn't hear a whistle. And he just goes and continues to run and then scoops up that ball. The Giants were still trying to grab the ball, but Bobby got to it first. And at that point, they reviewed it. The refs stopped it. And you guys are listening to this. You watched the game. So no need to go back over. But the refs said it was an incomplete pass. DQ says like, no. He challenged it. It's a fumble, and it's a clear fumble. Just no way it was contested. That's a fumble the second you see the replay. And Bobby ended up grabbing that thing. That could have easily gone the other way. And I think, I don't want to say teams in the past, but I do feel that past teams don't play to the whistle and don't hustle as much. But that's the difference you have with this team. You've got, all 11 guys arriving violently to the ball. That's what Joe Witt wanted and talked about before the season started. And you saw that happening. And the Giants were driving. At one point, they had, during their touchdown drive, it was a 9-minute drive. They had 12 rushes and 3 passes, right? I mean, they realized that if the Giants are going to win this game, the Commanders' run defense isn't it. And DQ actually had a comment about the rushing defense.
Hey, Dan, what did you see from the run defense on tape, and how can you guys improve in that area?
Yeah, I thought, number one, I thought the quarterback runs of him being able to circle the defense, Sam, was a big deal. And one of them may have been a 24 yards or significant explosive run. And then past that, I didn't feel like the tackling was off base, but the explosive ones are the ones that can really change the course of the game. And we had one against Chicago, and then the explosive run from yesterday. And you don't get to say, except for this and this, it was on point. So I think more than anything, making sure whatever the look is, whatever the run is, that you're able to nail that piece down. And so that's where I thought, we missed the mark in this game.
I mean, the Giants had -8 passing yards in the first half, right? They were just trying to run the ball on us left and right, and it was working. But because of that strip sack fumble recovery, we were able to get up on them, and they had to change their game plan. If that turnover doesn't happen, I think this is a different game we're watching. I think the Giants just run the ball down our throat because you had mentioned bend but don't break. London Fletcher, and this is why I refuse to. So many people complained about Mark Sanchez and the TV coverage because Sanchez was pro-Giants, and you could tell when he was broadcasting the game. But London Fletcher is basically telling you the Commanders are playing a cover 2 shell. They were so concerned about Malik Neighbors torching their ass again after what he did in week 2 that they were just going with the same game plan they kind of had against the Bengals, where they didn't want to get burned by what's his face from Cincy.
Chase.
Yeah, Jamar.
Yeah. Hmm.
So they were doing the same thing here. They were playing a cover 2 shell, which is easier to run against. But when it got to the red zone and when you got your chances, we finally stopped them on first down. They just couldn't immediately get it. And as long as we stopped giving them third and shorts, we were getting 3 and outs. And that's all it took. But yeah, I mean, you're 1,000% spot on with bend but don't break. That's really just been what this defense has been trying to do. And it worked against this Giants team. I don't know if
Man, let
it's
me
going
tell
to
you.
work against another.
Yeah, let me tell you. I feel as though we're not out of any game. And in years past, I'd be holding my head, biting my nails, saying, "Oh man, God dog it, another loss," that type of thing. But now they've given me the confidence to where, okay, go ahead and score. That's how I feel. Go ahead and score because we get the ball back and we're going to go ahead and score. That's just how I feel now. That's how confident I feel, and it's scary because
Yeah.
I don't ever want it to be a situation where I'm that confident and then we don't pull it out, so to speak. And now I go back to how we used to feel, and that's gonna scare me for our fans because I know if I'm thinking it, I'm not the only one who's thinking it. It's gonna be we're on this streak, and not to say I want it to happen, obviously, but if by chance they do break, how are we going to take that? And these are legitimate questions that I believe that people have. But right now, I'm going to just ride the wave and be happy. But like I said, my thought process is okay. We'll let them get the yards that they need, and yeah, they're going to run it. And it doesn't look good and it doesn't feel good. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, we'll just let them do what they got to do because some shape, somehow, we will do what needs to be done. And look what happened. We came out with another dub. So it works to a degree. But like you said, we've got a stretch here with some better teams, and that same mentality may not work.
Yeah. And I agree with you for this game, for the Panthers game, for the Bears game. I don't know if I'm going to feel that way against the Steelers. They're a
Hmm.
legit team, right?
Hmm.
Russell Wilson coming in here. I don't know if I'm going to feel that way against the Eagles, but at a certain point, right, the last drive before halftime, it is 43 seconds left. It's 1st and 20, right? Then it goes to 2nd and 20. Then it goes to 3rd and 18 with 20 seconds left. And we call a timeout. I'm thinking, oh, damn, we're not going to get in field goal range, right? Next thing you know, De'Ami Brown catches that pass and ends up running and getting that first down from 3rd and 18. Right? It's just different guys at different times. Like you can't just cover Terry, right? You
No.
can't just go for Zach Ertz or whatever else or Noah Brown. De'Ami just steps in out of nowhere and gets that first down. And earlier we had to waste a freaking timeout. So we only had one timeout left. Since De'Ami didn't get out of bounds because he had to get that first down, next thing you know, we're at the freaking 18 with 11 seconds left, right? Thinking, what are we going to do? Right? Well, we all know what happens when there was just 2 seconds left last time. So I'm thinking, okay, we get the ball at halftime, we get a field goal, and then we come back after a half, and then we just get the ball again and then score a touchdown. Nah, man, there is no settling for this team,
Mm-mm.
right? It just that pass that JD threw to Terry Terry had what, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns? Was that
Yeah.
it?
2
I mean,
tuds.
just that pass that he threw to Terry was just so beautiful right there. Was that your end zone or was that the opposite one?
The first one was my end zone. The second one was
Yeah.
opposite end zone, and I
Okay.
even record. So once again, being in the right place at the right time, I made another video. I don't think this was going viral, of course, but hey, I put it out there because the way that JD threw that ball to Terry to where only he could get it. I mean, it was low, knee height, knee level, and no defender could get that ball, and it was a laser. And Terry came up with it right in my end zone. Both he and JD did a little dance, little jig, if you will, and I got it recorded. So and it's on my pages, so on my socials. So anybody that's interested, if they didn't see it, they can see it there.
Go back and watch that thing in slow motion, or if you get a chance to watch, I'll cut it up and I'll put it on our YouTube. The play design that Kingsbury made for that play was just, it was a thing of beauty
Mm-hmm.
because the inside receiver didn't run a pick. The way his route naturally ran, picked the defender for the Giants without it a worry about it being called a pick play. Because if you remember, the Giants had that touchdown in the end zone that got called offensive pass interference because it was actual PI. But the
Right.
way Kingsbury designed this play to get Terry free on that slant was just gorgeous because there was no way it could get called offensive PI. And that's what you kind of worry about in situations like that. But because the defender had inside contain, the slant should not have been there. But Jaden knew the way the route was designed that the inside guy was going to pull him off and Terry would be right there. And Terry was the only person that could touch that ball. And it was just so sweet to see, man. Just a couple seconds left. And just like you said, you never feel that you're out of it with this team, regardless of it being 3rd and 18, right? With one timeout left, we're still moving down that field. And Rivera would have just taken a knee, right? He just said, oh, I'm
yeah.
taking a knee. What's going on? We're ahead. Worry about it.
You know,
That don't happen with this team.
No, and for one of the things that we brought him in here for was Riverboat Ron. We didn't gamble very much last year. We just didn't. Not like I think we've had every 4th down conversion. There's got to be some type of record. Every 4th down. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull the stat up. It's a ridiculous stat. But I mean, we had 2 4th down conversions during this game. I mean, it was crazy to see that happened. And those were huge 4th downs that we had to convert. And trying to see if they've got it here. Regardless, I mean, we are 7-2 for the first time since 1996.
96.
Right? I mean, 11 for 11 on 4th downs. I mean, the guys are just
11 for 11.
Yeah, on 4th downs.
God, dog, man. That see when you start looking at stats like that, and you really start putting things together, it's like you can't tell me that we aren't destined for greatness. I mean, I'm not saying Super Bowl, but at the same time, why not Super Bowl? No one knows the potential of this offense. I think that we see it, but we really haven't, I don't even think really tipped the iceberg yet, because Cliff has been just going into his bag of tricks and fooling people, including myself. I'll be the first to admit it. By no means did I ever think that we would be this way. And as you said, I'm always thinking that there's always a will, there's always a way that we'll pull it out. I just hope that this thing continues. The train keeps rolling, bro. That's what I'm hoping.
I don't see why it won't, assuming there's no injury or anything that caused that to happen. But talking about injury, I had concerns going into this game, right? The Giants led the league with 35 sacks in the NFL, right? Dexter Lawrence has 9 sacks for the season. Cornelius Lucas is hurt. Brandon Coleman is a rookie left tackle going up against a damn good Giants team, right? And he's coming back from a concussion, right? How is this offensive line going to hold up, right?
Yeah.
So that was a big concern for me. Sunday was the first time all season the Giants didn't get a single sack. And this is actually what DQ had to say about the offensive line.
For the offensive line, this is an excellent pass rushing team for our offensive line. So to finish, I believe, with no sacks, that's a big deal. They've got some fantastic rushers, and I think, I don't know what, you have to go back and check. Maybe there's 5 in the opening game, not the opening game, our first game against them. So we knew that was going to be a point of emphasis going into this game. So.
I mean, 0 sacks. In some of those plays that we got, there was a long one to OZ. There was a long one to Noah Brown. Those were scissor routes. If you go back and take a look at it, those things take time to develop because your receivers are going 15, 20 yards downfield and then crossing each other. Maybe not that deep, but it takes a while. This O-line, they gave him so much time to throw. It was just so beautiful. And something actually happened to Brandon Coleman in the game. I'm not sure if you actually heard. I didn't even know that this had happened. This is JP Finley talking to Nick Allegretti in the locker room.
you have to be a doc out there? Did you have to help Coleman?
Yeah. Had to pop the finger back in. I almost went down because I'm queasy. Did not enjoy that. He's like, just pull it. So I looked away and we got her back in. But man, to myself, yes. Never had to do it to a teammate. Glad it worked, but didn't enjoy that.
Did you get the right finger?
I'm glad. He said, just pull it. I was like, all right. But, BC's done an incredible job. Just the composure that he's shown, week in, week out, getting asked to go. Brian Burns is a good edge rusher. Being one-on-one on him most of the day. He has done an incredible job. Really, all the rookies, they're very composed, mature, 21, 22, 23-year-olds. Very, very cool rookie class so far.
The fact that he did that well, had a broken finger. Allegretti had to put the damn thing back in, and going back and looking at his PFF grade, just sitting here in regards to blocking, Coleman was the highest graded pass blocker for us, right?
Love to hear it.
This is a kid that was splitting time, right? That was a rookie splitting time with Cornelius Lucas. But when Lucas went down, next man up, right? He had an 89.2 pass block. His run block grade was the highest as well at 70.6.
Sweet.
Talk about stepping up when your team needs you the most. Coming back from a concussion on top of it. It's so awesome to see, man. And we talked about the brotherhood last week, and it's really what it is.
Well, one of the things that I'll say is, they just didn't throw him out to the wolves in the beginning. And that's what I like about our coaching staff. They didn't throw him out in the woods. They let him split the reps, get his gamemanship up, if you will. And each week he's gotten better and better and better to where now, if he needs to do it all alone, hence, as we saw against the Giants, he can do it. But a lot of times I think that these coaches from other squads, and in years past with us, they throw you out there. If you don't do well, oh, he's a bust. Well, they saw that this kid had the blueprint to get it done. But don't just throw him out there. Let him continue getting that experience. And each week, and we saw it, he may have had, let's just say, 5 snaps. Then it went to 10 snaps, then 20 snaps, if you will. And now look, he's ready to just be on his own. They just didn't kick him out of the nest and say, fly, young man. No, they brought him up the right way. And that's what I like about this coaching staff, man. They see what's going on and they're making the adjustments for the players. And it just builds confidence throughout the team. And you see it, man.
It definitely does, man. I remember when Dan Quinn was assembling all of his coaches, right? Bringing in Kingsbury, bringing in Joe Witt, bringing in Anthony Lynn. The one coach that a lot of people had an issue with was Bobby Johnson. Bobby Johnson was the offensive line coach for the Giants. The Giants were horrible last year protecting Daniel Jones, right? Mm-hmm. And DQ said, no, he's good. He knows what he's doing. This offensive line, to top it off with Jaden, but this offensive line, in my opinion, is why we are winning games. This offensive line, Jaden would not be able to do what he is doing without them, right? And if it wasn't for Bobby Johnson coming in here, DQ believing in him, and Bobby Johnson with the way he's coaching these guys, we're not 7-2. Just being real about it. The pass win rate for Tyler Biadasz is freaking ridiculous. Just our O-line, we might finally have all pros. We haven't had a freaking all pro on our team in how long? And this offensive line has just been given Jaden so much time and so much confidence. And dude, the running attack without B-Rob, it didn't miss a beat. We were $150 on 38 carries.
Ooh.
Was it 38? It was let's see here. 150 yards, regardless. I don't know. 38 carries, 149 yards. And I think part of that's because Jaden took a knee and you lose a yard. So $150 on 38 carries. without your star running back, right? And it's because that offensive line, I know you said you probably couldn't do it, but I think you could run through some of those holes, man. All right. I think you're getting 30 yards against the Giants the way those guys are blocking because they are
Ooh,
opening things up, and it's just beautiful.
you give me far too much credit, brother.
I have a feeling you care, man. I've seen you on the videos on that bike. I think you can do it. And this O-line is tough to stop. And I bought myself a victory stake because I won my Giants bet, right? I kind of want to buy the O-line victory stake because I woke up this morning and I looked at my FanDuel account. I'm not sure if you've checked yours, but Commanders over 6.5 wins. Just got paid. Got paid, man.
That's right,
7-2.
baby. That's right, baby.
And I'm just kicking myself in the butt because I didn't put more money down on that. Because
I know, man.
7-2 right now. I mean, Vegas thought we were going to win 6.5, and we're 9 games into the season. All right, it's ridiculous. And this also was so weird to me. When B-Rob was out, I'm thinking the Commanders line is going to drop because we were 3.5-point favorites. When they announced B-Rob out, we went to -4.5 points. We were giving up more points to the Giants at that point when B-Rob went out. I don't get it. I'm not going to try and understand it. But this running game and what they are doing is just so hard for teams to defend. And I sent a tweet out that no B-Rob, it's going to be tough because that hurts our play action. That hurts our RPO. But they didn't miss a single beat without him.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing being able to plug and play with these players and to make things happen. That's all I can say, man. In the beginning, I said it, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Well, they found them. And which brings me to another thought. The deadline is in what? Tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
The trade deadline is tomorrow. Do you think that we're actually going to get someone? And if we do get someone, what position do you think that they would target?
So before I answer your question, this is actually what Adam Schefter has to say about players and the Commanders.
Interesting things that I heard this past week was from a few different places that there are players who are interested in coming to play in Washington. Now, I want to remind you, when is the last time that we heard in the NFL players were interested in coming to play in Washington? That would predate Dan Snyder, and it would be as uncommon to hear in the NFL as a Hail Mary pass that goes for a touchdown on the final play of the game to beat the Bears. But that's where we're at. I think that new ownership, new front office, new coaching staff, and of course, Jaden Daniels. And when you have that type of charisma and that type of success, I think other people are drawn to it. And like I said, for the very first time in a long time, I'm actually hearing people want to go play in Washington, which I don't believe we've heard at any point this century. The Commanders have until Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, to see if they can make a deal.
So Tuesday, 4 p.m. is when we got to figure this out, right? And it's crazy. I mean, Schefter knows, right? People want to come here. People want to be here. Before, we had to overpay to get washed up people to come here. That ain't the case anymore, man.
Washed up people. That's right.
I mean, there's that Cheap Trick song, right? I want you to want me. That's basically other players out there right now telling their agents, I want Washington to want me. I want to go there. And it's a Jaden Daniels effect, right? You talk about it. We talk about it. Like, how many people, what would you say the percentage of Commanders gear at the Giants Stadium versus old name gear when you were there out of that 40%?
You still got some people who are holding on, bro.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. I get it, but you can still
say,
see Commanders gear, right?
Oh yeah. I'd say probably 2 to 5%. And that's simply because you got some people who just don't take stock in buying new stuff. You know, I met a lot of people who said, you know what, I don't mind the name, but I just don't feel the need to go out and buy another jersey. I'm trying to think. I saw somebody who had a freaking what was it, Dirty 30's
Ron Landry.
jersey, Landry, and
Yeah.
I'm saying Landry, really? But hey, it's not for me to say. The fact of the matter is, you are rocking our team jersey, our team colors. So that's all that matters to me. You know, everybody. Some people, and this is something that really blew my mind, Ted, and some people, they said, "Man, I work very hard just so I can see one game." So with that being said, if you got an old Landry jersey on and you work that hard to, because I don't, we don't know what people do in their lives. We don't
Yeah.
know the sources of income or whatever have you. But the mere fact that people tell me this stuff, I work very hard so I can go to see one game, and this is the game that I decided to come to. And I know you've heard it before too. So if you're rocking an old jersey with the old name on it or the middle name, so be it. The fact is, you're a fan, and I'll take you. I
Yeah.
want you to be a part of the squad, yelling and rooting the team on to victory. And it makes me feel really good to know that that one game that you had an opportunity to go to, we won. And years past, we wouldn't be able to say that.
And I mean, considering what ticket prices are going for now, like David from my tailgate crew doesn't have a ticket for this weekend. He's going to come out and cook and he's going to hang out, but he doesn't have a ticket to go to the game. So if anyone out there has got an extra ticket for the Steelers game, you know, holler at your boy. I feel bad, but nosebleeds are $300 to go to this game.
That's crazy.
It's the salute to service game. So you have a bunch of service members and veterans that really, really, really want to go to this game. And I feel bad because there are no cheap tickets to go to games anymore. It's not a thing. You and I talked, you know, if you want to guarantee playoff tickets, you got to get season tickets. So the people that went with me to the Bears game, I think they ended up buying season tickets. And I told them, if you buy them, you can sell your Steelers ticket. You can sell your Eagles tickets just to pay for the rest of the season that you just put money down on. And you and I talked about this in the past. Like, that's what people would do back in the glory days, right? You would sell 2 games out of the 8 just to pay for your entire season. And I don't blame you guys at all. I feel for those fans that count on going to the salute to service because it means a lot to them because, you know, they're veterans and I hope they get a chance to actually go to this game, but it's difficult. But today, Mark Rippon was on with B. Mitch and Finley. At the end of his segment, guess what he said?
I want to hear it.
HTTC. From Mark Rippon, right? The guy that won the 91 Super Bowl for us, or 92, depending on, you know, if you made the old brand insignia or not. I think my jacket still says 92 on it. But you know what I'm talking, just the fact that he has embraced this, right? And he is fine with it. And yes, I understand John Riggins is not, but just the fact that Rip is 1,000% on board. And I think Jeremy Reeves shouted out B-Mitch and Tana, saying how he is just so happy seeing Tana and B-Mitch be proud of them. And the old just, I mean, hugging the new at that point and everyone just kind of being on board, it just feels special. And you mentioned earlier, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know when it's going to end. You know, I do know that you and I and our listeners are going to enjoy this as long as we possibly can. And I don't want Adam Peters to make a trade splash that will jeopardize this long term. I don't want to give up 2 first-round picks to get a rental.
No, I don't see him doing that. That's not in his DNA to do something like that. I mean, I see him making a great economical type of pick that will last us for the long haul. Because once again, no one expected us to be where we are. So we're playing with house money. We really are.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of finding that one gem. Because let's face it, America is a huge place. I don't know the square footage of it, but there's always that one gym player who has been working out. He's been doing everything his agent told him to do, and he's just looking for his opportunity. And I feel that Peters can scour the Americas and find that player who we feel is going to fit our system and won't cost us an arm and a leg to make us that much better. He's out there. We don't know it. And they said the phone's been ringing. So, man, the only thing that we don't know is how many people behind the scenes are coming in. Because normally the reporters, they have to report that to the reporters? But the reporters seem to always know who came in for a practice. So how does that work, Ted? Explain it to people if you know.
I mean, usually it's agents leaking it to reporters.
Okay.
Because they're trying to pit other teams against each other and get what's best for their client. So that's usually how it goes. They're not bringing these guys in for workouts when the trade deadline is tomorrow at 4:00, or when you're listening to this today at 4:00. So it's just going to happen. The thing is, I want fans to understand it might not be a first round flashy name that you hear we bring in. Just know what Adam Peters has done with the not so flashy names, with the guys that were supposed to be on their last leg, right? With Zach Ertz, with Austin Eckler, with Bobby Wagner, with these guys that other teams just threw away, with a Noah Brown, right? Just know that Peters knows what he's doing, and he's proven it time and time again with this roster.
Yeah. I think also, Ted, bottom line is we have a bunch of, and I don't want to say nobodies, because we do have some known names on our squad, but ultimately we've got a bunch of, what's the word I don't want to, we've got a lot of good players who have bought into a great system, which in return is making them exceed expectations. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, they're definitely, I mean, Vegas's expectations were 6.5. They are not in the business of losing money. They lost money on this.
Oh, big time.
Right? I mean, a ton of people took the Commanders to beat the Giants. That's why the spread changed to 4.5. Right? And if you got it at 4.5, I feel bad for you. Right? And I honestly, I don't wonder if Daboll had money on the Commanders. I just don't get why he went for 2. At 24-16, why you go for 2 and do that? I mean, I'm sure there's some analytics guys out there that can explain it to me, but because he did that, I won my bet. I'm sure you won your bet, and I'm happy about it. It's just, I trust these guys to do what is best for this team. And the thing is, they are a team. I remember when, and I've said the story before, when we brought in Terrell Pryor, right? You don't want to disrupt the chemistry you have currently. If you can improve it and you think that player can fit, and maybe it's someone that has played with Dan Quinn in the past, or Anthony Lynn, or Ken Norton Jr. that can help, then you bring him in. But if they don't bring someone in by the time you guys listen to this or the trade deadline, then I'm fine with it too. Because we have a ton of cap space and we got a ton of picks next year, and we're ahead of schedule right now by leaps and bounds. And this train ain't stopping yet, right? We all should know by now the fat lady hadn't sung on this team, especially after that Bears game. So who knows what's going to happen the rest of the way? These next 2 games against Pennsylvania are going to be a big test for this team. But worst case scenario, it doesn't pan out. 7-2, 7-4, still happy as hell. It's not about if this team makes the playoffs. It's about what seed we're going to be in the playoffs. And that's really all that matters, and what you do once you're there.
Did you hear the clip that I want to say Ertz said to a Fox 5 reporter, basically saying they brought these guys in, and we've seen that if you don't, basically, I'm paraphrasing, if you don't have the love for the game, or if you're not cutting the mustard, we don't have a use for you. And we've seen them cut people, which I believe keeps guys on their toes to always put forth the best effort.
Yeah, I think it was on the Fox 5 pregame. I mean, did you record the Fox 5 pregame?
I did.
Go back and watch the Hail Mary segment, because they had Ertz in there, they had Sam Cosmi, they had Terry McLaurin, and there was someone else. I want to say it was maybe Eckler, I could be wrong.
Mhm.
But just hearing about the culture and the change that has
Mhm.
happened here. And I'm so tired of hearing about culture because of the whole Rivera era, just how he changed everything here. We know now that that was a lie, that that was smoke and mirrors. Rivera didn't change a damn thing other than our team name from the Washington football team to the Commanders. And guess what? The name is sticking. It ain't going anywhere. Don't want to rehash that. But Dan Quinn truly has changed the culture of this team. It
Oh
is
yeah.
about competition. It is about being ready when your name is called, right?
Mhm.
And it is about going to battle with your brothers. And that's why this team is exceeding expectations because of the culture that he has built here and is currently still building because they're not even close to being done. I mean, this is just week 10, and this is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. I love it. Can't get. I want more of it. Can't get enough of it.
I kind of wish this was a short week because I want to play now, man. And
Ooh, really?
so teams that win, and let me see if I can find this stat, right? Teams that win, let's see here.
Yeah, school
On
us,
a
brother, because I wanna hear this. I need to be schooled on this one.
NFL teams who won on a walk-off game-winning touchdown were on a 7-game losing streak in the following game. So talking about that Hail Mary, all right? And this is actually what Jaden had to say about the team just not giving that letdown.
The way that last week ended, what's your coaching staff doing to get you guys to turn it around and refocus in a heartbeat?
I mean, they just preach, new week. But other than that, I mean, we got a great veteran presence in the locker room with guys that had the highest highs and the lowest lows. So leading all those guys to, and just the locker room, the message I think we all kind of get is like, hey, what happened last week happened last week. We got a whole new week to go.
What happened last week happened last week. I wanted people just were sleeping on the Giants, saying, let's just focus on Pittsburgh. To me, it's week to week. Let's just treat this as we're 0-0. Forget about what the hell our record is right now. We're somewhat playing with house money, depending on what you're thinking, and especially if you put that 6.5 in bet in. And let's just treat this Steelers game as it's the most important game. Let's not even think about the 2 Eagles games coming up, right? And that's why I'm saying I want to play now. Right? Obviously, the guys got to get back. They got to get their treatment. Coleman might have to get his finger taken care of. I got no doubt he'll be out there. I mean, shoot, what was it? John Jansen played with 2 broken thumbs on, obviously both hands at the same time. So I know these guys are going to be ready and these coaches are going to get them ready. And Pittsburgh's going to be a tough out. Don't get me wrong. But like you said earlier, never out of it, man. Never out of it.
No, never. That's a beautiful thing. Sweet.
So for you, 3 people, they get your rally chain for this dub.
3 people.
3 people or groups or whoever it may be.
Okay. Well, I gotta give it. He gets it multiple weeks, but Terry gets it. I mean, he scored the. Yeah, he scored the 2 tuds. We talked about in mass. I got to break the offensive line up to give them a piece of the chain. You just have to. Without them, it's not going down. And I got to give it back to the coaching, to the coaches, man, for getting these guys prepared and being able to call the right plays at the right time. We didn't have this before, so they are adapting, and their clock management looks to be a lot better. So those are my 3, man. I'm listening. Who you got?
To me, Jeremy Chin freaking played like a man possessed. The guy was all over the place on Sunday. Almost had an INT, right? And Chin gets at least one of my chains. 12 tackles for him. I mean, he was rookie. I want to say he was rookie of the year or he was runner-up to rookie of the year when Chase got it. And they brought him in here and he has just improved week after week after week and just getting better in the system. Just looking at his PFF grade. His PFF grade week 1 was a 56, right? His grade this week was a 74. His tackling grade week 1 was a 47. His tackling grade this week was an 85.9. I mean, guys are starting to just feel better in this system, and Chin is one of them. And if you go back and watch a game, if you have time, you'll see it. And he just did everything he needed to. Right. Second, Dan Quinn. I mean, Quinn assembled just a heck of a staff. This is his 50th career regular season win. And we talk about the vets not letting the players, sleep on their opponents. Quinn's a huge part of that. I mean, having been in this game for quite some time, he's not letting these guys be that 8th loss for that team that comes off after that Hail Mary win or that walk-off touchdown because of him. I mean, just hearing him in his press conferences and just everything he's got to say is just awesome. And I would say offensive line coach, man. I mean, just for what he has done, I felt bad for him the way he got a bad rap, right? Bobby Johnson got a bad rap from coming from the Giants, and people were criticizing him, criticizing the hire, and me included. Not sure how it was going to be, but we would not be anywhere if this O-line wasn't doing what they're doing. And it's just so freaking great to see that we are now the hot chick, right? We are the one that everybody wants to be with. And it's because of those people you gave your chain to, the ones I gave my chain to, and the other people on this roster. And it's, man, I can't wait till Pittsburgh, man. I can't wait to talk to you about it coming up too.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, brother. I'm looking forward to it. I hear Cheap Trick in the background. I want you to want me. And that's all we want right there, baby, to be wanted. That's going to do it for another episode of DMV Mess Hall. Appreciate you guys riding with us. I still have spots available for the Philadelphia Eagles trip. Holler at me. Please don't wait till the last moment. It'll make your experience that much better. It really will. Well, hey, remember, you rep it hard, or you don't rep it at all. Tailgate Ted, Rally Captain, out of here for another week.